It's Monday. Let's have a look at the markets again. Forex, we're starting with the pound versus the dollar. I was looking for a buy opportunity down at 130.00 last week. You can see that that was pretty much the exact low, and we had a really nice bounce up. Now, longer term, just want to remind you that I think cable is probably heading lower. I think that the dollar is probably heading higher. You can see that on Friday, we managed to get to the first 23.6% Fibonacci resistance at 131.80, 131.70. I didn't suggest a short position here, and we did top out. I think there is a chance we can still get up to 38.2% fib resistance. At least I would love to see it get there. On the 4-hour chart, we're going to have moving average resistance there. That's the red 200, and that's been a good resistance level. Mind you, so is the blue 100. They've both worked well. Okay, they're diverging as the market falls, but I would love to have the opportunity to sell it around the 132.80 area. We've got trendline resistance, we've got the 38.2, we've got a little bit of price action backing up the fact that that should be a resistance level, and we've got the moving average as well. And we are in a bear trend since the 17th of September, so that's a good 6 weeks, nearly 7 weeks, I think, is it? So that's my reasoning, and I think eventually the pound will turn down. Now, it all then depends on what happens around the 130.00 area, and I suspect maybe on the second or third test we'll break down, but I'm jumping the gun there, so we have to just wait and see. But that's my plan at the moment. And I have the same sort of idea for the euro US dollar. We are again stalling at the 23.6% fib around 115.70 and the 100 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. I would love the opportunity to sell it around 116.40. We've got the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. We've got the trend line that you can see I have drawn here, and we've got the 38.2% fib. So price action not quite so strong at that resistance area, but we are in a bear trend since the same time, 17th of September. So short-term bear trend. We did test the Fibonacci level, the Fibonacci support at 115.10 in the euro, and we overran it, but then bounced. So I'm going to consider that that support level held. Okay, what's next? Just a quick one, the Aussie versus the US. You might remember from last week, I showed you a trade sheet that I do for myself in the mornings, and we had a support level. I'm just looking at the sheet now, 64.65, 64.50, and we got down to a low of 64.62. So there was an opportunity to buy into that level at the end of last week, a couple of times actually, and we've got some good bounces. That really is just coming off a trend line. So a really decent trend line, goes all the way back to 23rd of June. So it's been tested many times, worth trying it again. We're getting a little bounce off there, which is good news for the long positions if you manage to jump in. The pound versus the Aussie was another trade I had on my sheet at the end of last week. I was looking to get short at the 38.2% fib, the trend line, moving averages all on the 4-hour chart. Really good resistance at around 203.00. What did I have as my entry? 203.00 up to 203.20. So what was the peak of that? 203.38. Yep. So we managed to hold the resistance and we've turned lower. If you've got the trade on and if you run it over the weekend, the trade is in profit. I think we've got further to go on the downside. So I'm actually still short that position. I've got the trade open over the weekend. I thought it was worth it. The probabilities are all in our favor. So I'm happy to run it for a day or two. See at least if we can get down to the low here, which is around the 202.00 area. Even that, a relatively small move, would still be a decent profit on the trade. And lastly, a trade that did really well last week, it was the Canadian dollar versus Japanese yen. I was looking to buy around the trend line and around the 23.6% fib, just above the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. I had my stop loss just below that. Again, nice bounce off the level. The low was 108.18 and change. My buy level was 108.20, 108.00. So if you manage to get into that trade, again, that was one that seemed to work. Really nice bounce, straight up to the 50 period moving average on the 4-hour chart on the previous peaks. That was more than enough profit for me. I was out by the end of the day. I hope that analysis has helped you, given you some ideas for Monday. Please do join me again on Tuesday for another recap and hopefully some new trading ideas.